Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm looking at an old kit from the stash, and this time it's the figure of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1/12 scale from AIRFIX. The first time this kit was released was 1959 in a hanging bag. It was subsequently released in boxes in 1964, 1973 and 1975. This kit I have today is the last of these boxings. Now, if you enjoy the show, and I hope you do, please do remember to let YouTube know by giving it the imperial thumbs up, by hitting the notification bell and subscribing to the channel. It's free and a great way to show your support. So let's make a start with the box the kit comes in. So here's the box of the figure of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1/12 scale by AIRFIX. In the background here are the grenadiers of the old guard, I presume. Looking like they look like seasoned veterans in the past, and in his characteristics. Now whether that's actually how he stood or not is another matter. I don't know whether he actually stood like that, but you know, that's the popular conception of Napoleon. So on the side here it points out that these English instructions are included also in French and German, and of course it's made in England. This particular one's copyright 1978. And it says to use AIRFIX adhesives and those paint numbers, which are, of course, Humbrol equivalent. So, yeah, Series 2 kit. All very nice. Let's see what we get inside. So it's a top opening box. Fortunately, not one of the side openers that they had occasionally. Inside, we have the instructions, of course. We have a bag with lots of white plastic parts. They're supposed to be on a frame, but they've all come off frames. So there are a couple of frames in there, but that's all there is. And then an advert for the AIRFIX Modelers Club every week in Buster and Valiant Comics. And of course, a complaints thing or part request here. Let's have a look at some of this stuff in a bit more detail. So this is the parts basically for the model of Napoleon Bonaparte. So we have a base unit here for him to stand on. Front and back of his torso with his frock coat, trousers. This is the crown with his famous bicorn hat. The soles of his shoes. The one hand that would be sort of probably tucked behind his back slightly. Front and back of his head. The two sides of each of his boots, his collar goes around the top there, and his arms. So not a huge number of pieces, but enough to be interesting. And we'll have to see how it all goes together. It says the face of Napoleon, according to AIRFIX's designers and makers back in the day. That's all right, you know, it's not the highest quality print, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about the way the upper eyelid is working. I'm not sure about that at all. But, yeah, we can make something of that. We can make something nice of that. Let's get a bit of texture there. There we go. Just trying to, looks a bit like a certain Russian leader at the moment, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, I think we'll be able to make something of that. It might be it'll take some work. The eyes will take work because they've been over sculpted, I think. But we should be able to do something with that. The detail on his coat is not great. The buttons would have had beautiful emblems on it, and the sort of fabric hasn't really got the sort of crispness and cleanness to it that today you would have. But again, these are very old molds, so it's not really surprising. I might try the non-metallic metals technique on the buttons. So you paint them to look like they're metallic, even though they're actually not. So you don't just sort of slap on a brass or gold button with a bit of gold paint. You actually paint them with the highlights and shadows and specular bits as if they were gold. It's a lot more difficult, and it will be quite a difficult thing to do. In fact, it'd be a very difficult thing to do, but be worth it in the end, I suspect. So I'll maybe give it a go anyway. Got to give these things a go and see how we get on with that. The instruction sheet literally is a sheet of paper, one single paper. There's a very brief biography of Napoleon here in English, in French and in German. Some general instructions, again English, French and German. And one instruction is cement. So if you see something with a circle, you cement it. So you cement the front and back of his trousers together, his boots with the soles onto the base. And then you do his coat, his arms, with his hands there, the collar of his greatcoat. You build his head and the hat, put that on top, and that's it, done. I mean, 4 steps basically. And then colours here, middle blue, French blue obviously for the greatcoat, white for his breeches, buff waistcoat, black boots and hat, and then some stuff on his cockade, which is up here on his hat, and flesh for his face and hand, which I think we might have to do something a little bit more than just whack a load of flesh colour down. We'll see what we can do when we paint Monsieur Bonaparte, Sa Majesté l'Empereur, as it were. But yeah, I'm looking forward to making this. I really am looking forward to it. I love that era of history, and yeah, a Napoleon figure. How wonderful is that going to be? There it is then. It's a nice big figure, but definitely showing its age in terms of moulding and in the original tooling detail. However, with a bit of clever brushwork, it should be possible to make a decent statue of Emperor Napoleon from this kit. Now, if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, then please let YouTube know by giving it the imperial thumbs up, hitting that notification bell and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching today, and goodbye.